Hi everyone, I am Lionel Sanchez and I'm an interior designer and I teach interior design as well, and welcome to my channel and this video. So we are going to talk about the prohibitions and penalties of the implementing rules and regulations of Republic Act 10350, otherwise known as the Philippine Interior Design Act of 2012. So for this video, I'll be referring to the IRR, or the Implementing Rules and Regulations, because the IRR is a sort of like the more specific version of the Republic Act, because these are the interpretations of that specific Republic Act according to the enforcers of the law, specifically the Professional Regulation Commission. So again, let's talk about the prohibitions and penalties specifically to the IRR of Republic Act 10350. So we find these prohibitions and penalties in Rule number 8. And then we will start with Section 40, which is prohibitions. So for Section 40, it states that all government officials, employees, and officers should help in enforcing the Republic Act, and specifically the IRR. All chartered cities, provinces, municipalities are charged with the enforcement of the laws, ordinances, and regulations. So specifically, this will fall under the Office of the Building Official, or OBO. They are mandated by this IRR to implement the rules and regulations of Republic Act 10350. So it also states here that they should only accept those interior plans, specifications, and contract documents which have been prepared by or under the supervision of a duly, take note, a duly licensed interior designer, and signed and sealed by him or her, and submitted in full accord with the provisions of the Republic Act 10350. Without, also take note, without any substitution by an architect. So an architect, an engineer, or a contractor. Only a duly licensed interior designer can sign interior design plans. It should not be from an architect, an engineer, or a contractor, as it states here in Rule number 8, Section 40. So if you have any clarifications, please refer to this specific section in the IRR, Rule number 8. Violation of the foregoing shall be ground for administrative and or criminal action. Okay. Section 41 deals with the penal clause. So what is this all about? It's all about the penalties of not following this IRR. So it says here that those who are not following the act shall be punished by a fine of not less than 300,000 pesos, but not more than 1 million pesos, or imprisonment of not less than 6 months, but not more than 3 years, or fine, or both fine and imprisonment at the discretion of the court. So for local practitioners, they can be categorized into the following. First, if you are practicing interior designer, rendering work and consultations, or rendering equivalent services as an interior designer. So what does it mean? So even though you are not claiming that you are an interior designer, but you are doing the equivalent work of an interior designer. So it says here, if you are rendering equivalent services as the interior designer, as defined in the Republic Act 150. So what does an interior designer do? So you refer to the Republic Act 10350, the roles of an interior designer and the definition of an interior designer. So please refer to that. So if you are doing rendering equivalent services or work that are stipulated in the Republic Act 10350, So that can be grounds for a penalty. Or otherwise, if you are using the title interior designer, if you are doing, or if you are using the title interior design consultant, interior design stylist, or using the word interior design, and yet you are not licensed, registered, and certified, then or using the official appendage title of IDR or any other similar terms in any signage, calling card, advertisement, or any other mode of publicity without a valid certificate of registration in our valid professional identification card or PRC license, or a valid temporary or special permit, then you are committing a penalty to this IRR. So again, using the words interior designer, interior design consultant, stylist, or using the word IDR in your calling card, even online in social media. So it falls under any other mode of publicity. Okay? Or if you have a Facebook page, even, stating that you are offering interior design or that you are an interior designer, or simply rendering equivalent services. So again, what does it mean when you are doing the work of interior designer even though you are not claiming to be an interior designer? So that is already committing a penalty against this IRR in Republic Act 10350. Okay? So if you don't have a PRC license, okay, or a special or temporary permit, so how does one gain a special or temporary permit to practice interior design? Please refer to Republic Act 10350, since we will not be discussing it here, because this one is all about the prohibitions and the penalties. So again, if you're also using or attempting to use the seal, certificate, or registration of a professional identification card of a registered interior designer, or a temporary special permit issued to a foreign professional, then that also falls under this penalty. Abetting the illegal practice of interior design by an unregistered or unauthorized person, meaning you are assisting or encouraging someone to practice interior design, so that is also a penalty. Impersonating a registered interior designer or a holder of a special temporary permit, that is also penalty. And then B, a foreign practitioner firm, if you did not apply for a special or temporary permit, then that is also a penalty. It says here that if you are found or guilty of doing so, then you will be charged with an equivalent of 30% of the gross fees, in addition to a payment of back taxes due to the Philippine government. So this refers to a foreign practitioner, which is letter B. And then it also says the same, imprisonment of not less than 6 months or not more than 3 years, or both fine and imprisonment, as well as permanent ban from practice in the Philippines at the discretion of the court. Okay, so any also violations or provision of RA 10350 or this IR is also meaning you're committing a penalty. And then section 42 deals with civil liability. So civil liability differentiates an interior designer from those that are not, because just like architects and engineers have a civil liability, interior designers also do have, which is only 1 year from the time the client has already accepted the final deliverable or the project. Okay, so except of course for force majeure, meaning in case of calamities and things that are shall we say not under nature, okay, acts of nature rather. So the interior designer shall be fully responsible for the safety, protection, security, and convenience of his client and or user, personal, third parties. Okay, the liability period of its effects in the project shall be under 1 year from the final acceptance of the client. So during this period, the interior designer shall undertake the repair works of his or own expense of the damage to the projects arising from his or her design and or specifications. So it should be within 45 days from the time the client has issued a notification of the need to undertake the repair. So otherwise, if the interior designer is unable to do so, then the client can do it for himself or herself, provided that the client shall be reimbursed of the expenses incurred upon his or her demand. So the failure of the responsible interior designer with the preceding paragraph shall be ground for administrative disciplinary action for which he or she can be held liable for the suspension or any appropriate penalty as may be determined by the Board of Interior Design. So those are the prohibitions and penalties of the IRRF, Republic Act 10350. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments, do you think that these penalties are justifiable? Do you think illegal practitioners or those that do not possess the interior designer license should be held liable or penalized? So if you have any comments regarding this law, then please let me know by commenting down below. And if you find this video useful, please do give it a thumbs up, and you can also subscribe to this channel, okay, for more interior design related videos. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye.